Hello, everyone. Welcome to another FLGS day. We like to celebrate our friendly local game stores. We have a great show today I'm really excited about because we are going to actually have kind of like a coffee cafe style restaurant theme. We have Giga-Bites from Georgia, and we have Hitherto from Indianapolis, and then we have Gap Closer Games, the creators of rival restaurants. Dawn always likes that, flipping words around thing. I'm winning today. But today we're going to start the show off with David Finn, who's, I'm not going to lie, we have some inside jokes, and is a friend of mine. So if the cat's out of the bag, the cat's out of the bag. But David's with us from Georgia. How's it going? How's it going, David?
It's good, good. How are you today? I'm trying to stay going. I've been up for about 6 hours now, and that's about my turn into a pumpkin sign time before I, collapse and go sleep for the next 3 hours.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good.
Good. David is down in Georgia. Don't let the Irish accent fool you. He really is in Georgia.
It's an Irish accent with a mix of sinuses right now.
Yeah, that seems to be going around. Well, thank you for being with us. We're really glad you're here. Your store is hopping. It looks amazing. The reality is I know a lot about Giga-Bites. It's an amazing place. It's a cafe, a game store. And tell us where in the Atlanta proper area you are specifically if people are visiting.
So, yeah, we're in Marietta. So it's about 25 minutes northwest of Atlanta itself. So straight up, get landing at the airport, get a lift, go up 75, and you're right at our store.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, honestly, if people are going to Georgia, it's a great place to go. It's a great place to visit, especially if you're into miniature gaming, because you have a huge miniature.
We do. We actually have today going on. We have a Lord of the Rings and Infinity events going on right now, which is why it's kind of crazy behind me. But we do a lot of miniatures.
You do. And so if people are even in probably the tri-state area, it might be worth them visiting you because you guys do so much. The other thing about Giga-Bites that really always impresses me is the community, like your attention to community. So if you're looking to travel and visit a friendly local game store that you feel like you could just walk into and make yourself at home, I feel like David's store is one of those places. And that's big talk for me because we did ourselves at our store too. So David, tell us why that's so important to you.
Oh, well, it's one of the main things we do. We feel like the community is what keeps the store going. It's the reason to have the store, have the events, and it allows us to offer the products that we do. And we decided pretty early in creation of the store, the changing of the store from an internet cafe to a gaming cafe was based around what we could give to people, have them to come back and make them invest in the store. So we run a lot of events. Obviously we do lots of food, coffees, smoothies, and we try to think what can we do to give to people to make them want to stay for 6 to 8 hours a day, while also make them care, right? So it's not just a matter of divesting people of their money. It's giving them a reason to want to come to us and be part of our community. So we feel like it's been pretty good. Yeah, we're almost in our 15th year, so it's something must be going right.
That's awesome. And one of the things, well, you're creative, right? You always build a team around you that has strength where you need to build that up. And that's created such a great community. And you're also very attainable. People can watch your live streams. People can watch, things that are happening in the store and really feel like they're part of your store. So I want to talk about that a little bit. We just came off of this. We didn't come off of it. We're still in it, in the middle of a world pandemic. And people often say, shopping online is so easy. I don't know why I need a store anymore.
Yeah.
To me, you're the epitome of why we need stores, right? What we do in the store, if people are watching this and they order online, I'm not saying stop ordering online, but go check out stores like David's and later on Hitherto. You're going to see this is a different vibe that you can get. With that being said, let's watch the little promo that you guys put together so people can really get a good feel of it. And then we'll come back and ask some more questions.
Sure.
weekly, monthly, and special events by providing staff support to make sure their events run well. It's not unusual to see over 100 players in store at a time. Third, we host Facebook and Discord groups to help players chat and organize games. Now, when you're playing at Giga, you might get a little hungry, so we've got you covered with a full food and cafe menu. We've got burgers, hot dogs, quesadillas, toasted and panini sandwiches, snacks, lattes, smoothies, slushies, and monthly theme specials to give you something new every month. Oh, and if you're 21 and over, we have a selection of local and imported beers to choose from. Our tables are open for you to play on every day of the year. We invite you to join our community and become a Giga gamer. Whether you're local or not, we want you to be a part of the fun. So, like our Facebook page and other social media profiles, and say hi on one of our videos, photos, and live streams. We'll see you when you play at Giga.
It just looks amazing. I mean, you've won several awards with our parent company, Gamma. I mean, for obvious reasons. It's absolutely phenomenal. You know what I noticed though? The span of miniature games that you guys do, like I saw Dust and Battletech and like everything. And it's impressive. As a game store owner, it's really impressive.
Yeah, it's very intensive trying to run miniatures centric because there is such a wide range, and every product line has so many SKUs. So having to, but we just felt when we start, we take a game, we create the groups, create the community, and basically have the product for people to pick up. We want people to know if they come into the store, they're going to find people to play with, they're going to find the product to buy, because in my view, there's no reason to set up a game, grow a community, but not have anything for them to continue to grow it, if it makes sense. So for us, we want to invest in the product, invest in the game, invest in the people, and hopefully, and historically it has been true that they have seen that we are willing to invest in it, and they support the store in return. So you said about buying online. I follow, I think it's a Gary Ray who talks about it a lot, the third place theory of, your first place is your home, your second place is your work, your third place is where you go to relax, enjoy, and whether that's a sports team or a bar or a game store, you want to give people a reason to invest in that.
Yep. I always said our store is like it's like the church, or it's like the bar for people that don't nerds, right? Like this is where we gather. This is where our people are, and commonality and bringing more people in, right?
Oh yeah, of course. And it's always about being inviting. I know you mentioned about building a team. I've always been the first person to recognize I don't know anything what I'm doing. I literally on a daily basis have no clue. I write checks, but I'm lucky. I have a great media team. I have a great events team. I have great managers and staff who do everything, and we try to make sure that they are open and welcoming, and that people can connect with them.
Yeah. The other thing I really noticed that really strikes me and makes me very happy is that it looks so inviting for everyone. The thing is we all know that miniatures games can predominantly feel masculine or more male driven. And the reality is that you're putting it to us in a place that makes this program, this gaming, this eventing, being in events, more attainable to everybody. It looks and feels normal. I hate using the word, but that's really, in retail, you need that consumer when they come in to feel like they feel safe and welcome, and you've presented that in a very nice way. So
it's very important for us to like, as you said, normalize it. It's not the best word to use, but it is really the main word to use, because it is a normal thing, right? You want to have a person's daily life. They get up, they exercise, they go to work, they come home, and they go to the game store, and that's your routine. And you want that to be a regular thing. Nothing should feel odd or strange. Everything should be just what you do.
And so for when we have game stores, right, we're constantly asking ourselves, how can we make everyone that walks in the door interested, intrigued, and feeling, and safe is also not a word I like, but it was a word we used in marketing in the past because you have that decompression zone where you just have to breathe and make sure that you feel like you want to be there. You've checked off all those spots in the box for me, and I love that and I appreciate it. And as a game store owner, I can say, that's awesome. I love when I see other game store owners doing better than me, as good as me, whatever. We want to lift each other up, and we want more gamers, because more gamers is more family fun, right?
Oh yeah.
We also have a huge selection. I don't want to take away from like everything and just focus on minis, because you have a huge board game selection. You have a huge RPG community. You definitely check off all the boxes. I'm going to go so far as saying you're kind of a mini convention in one stop at your place. So
we do actually run events, and we call it GigaCon. So it's a possibility.
There you go. It's brilliant, though. It's brilliant. What else do you think? I'm going to shout out to some of your team, because I know them personally, and they're really as dedicated. So if people are watching this and they're thinking, we want to take, there are lots of people that take road trips and just go to different game stores, and they'll come back and they would tell me like, I was so disappointed because this wasn't that. You definitely should be on that list, that checkoff list. If people are in the area, what do you want people to know about, like, if they just come in on a normal day, on a Saturday afternoon, can they get into games?
Oh yeah. Well, mainly I'd want to, like, as you said, like, we're open and welcoming, right? Every staff member is not trained to hit you with a sales pitch every moment, right? They're not coming in and going, hey, what do you want? What do you want to buy? And pushing you. We want to learn about what you're interested in first, and direct you to what will be of value to you as a person, rather than, I always like to say the end goal is to make profit. That's why we are in business, but that's not our sole focus, right? So we want to make sure, and we're always open, right? We're not here to be the cool guys. we're here to give a community, give as you said, a safe place for people to come play, where they feel welcome, feel open, and they can find what they like. So we want everyone to know when they come into the store, we're going to greet you, talk to you, find about your day, let you look around and take in the store, and just make you try to feel as welcome as possible. And we train the staff that way. We have a lot of staff. I think between the companies we're up to about 32, and we put all a hard focus on being open and welcoming, to everybody, regardless.
Yeah, and it comes through in everything that you do, right? It comes through. People want to know a little bit about Giga-Bites. They can watch you on Facebook. You guys do great live streams, and people can feel like they're part of a community before they come, which also I think is a great service. And you all know that I'm sort of a social media junkie. And so one of the things that I've always said to retailers is that makes people feel like they're part of the cool kids, right? Like we have that common bond with you when we're opening ourselves up like that. And the reality is a lot of times gamers are introverts. Now, the world is changing, and it's such a cool thing for us to see so many different variables and different types of people becoming gamers and being exposed to it. But if you look at the evolution of it, it typically was more introverted people, right? Unless they're party game fans. And you're just giving them this great place for them to come. And again, I hate the word, but I don't know a better word than normalize in doing what we do. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's comfortable. It's just fantastic.
Yeah. And that's what we want. We, as you said, it's like playing D&D is no different than doing fantasy football, right?
Right.
So people come to the house and draft their NFL players. What's the difference in creating your paladin or your druid? It's just how you spend your free time.
And a lot of times in our game stores, we have fantasy football leagues in our game stores. So crossover is always like amazing.
And the best thing for us is, as you said, we are open. We have our Facebooks, we have our I'm showing my age, the Facebooks. We have Discord, Instagram, TikTok, which I don't even understand what TikTok is, but we have it. And it's gone such a community where people are connecting with us. We're talking with them every day. We're always accessible. You know, a lot of my closest friends I've met through the store. Half my soccer team that I play on is store people. And it's just a matter of it's just becoming part of someone's life. And it's a big deal to be that. It's a big deal to be part of someone's life.
You called it soccer.
Yeah. But I have to cater to the audience.
Exactly. And also a big thank you from another game store owner, because guess what? You're a steward in the community as well too. We are a lot alike in the fact that we want to lift others up and help each other become better, because that just makes a stronger community. It shows in your store, and it shows for you as a human. So we thank you for being you. And
thank you.
if anybody is out there and wants to go visit Giga-Bites, I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. Thank you, David, for being here. And thank you for nominating our next host, or our next guest. Host, we'll kick it off to Gary if we want to. But you have a personal connection, and so people know you nominated Gary to be on the show because you love his board game. So if you love his board game, it says wonders, because you're a pretty cool store.
Yes, yeah, Gary's. I'm excited to have for him to have a chance and really tell everyone about Rival Restaurants. It's super popular. I mean, just go. We've loved playing it. We've sold tons of it. And as you said, we have a pretty personal connection outside the store as well, so it's good. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being with us, David. I know you guys are super busy. I appreciate all that your staff did to put together the pieces, and keep doing what you do. You're amazing.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much. Great to see you, Don.
You too. All right, we're going to go to Gary now. Gary Alaka is from Gap Closer Games, and he has an amazing game that I just learned about, actually, because of David, which is awesome. Hi, Gary, how are you?
Hey, Don, good to see you. Thanks for having me. And thanks, David, for the nomination. Appreciate that.
It's pretty awesome. So the show is to really focus on retail stores, but we always want to have a publisher in here because we couldn't do it without you, right? Like that's what it is. So Gary sent his game to me for me to play, and I'm telling you guys, hands down, I absolutely loved it. And I know you're saying, Dawn, you're a game store owner. How did you not have it? Well, the reality is Gary's company is actually, I would say, on the smaller side. And so he's really just getting out there. He's getting a lot of attention with this game. And I'd heard about it a lot. And just, we're game store owners. They think all we do is sit around and play games all day. Truth is, we don't. We do other things. So Gary, I played it this weekend. It's amazing. You're one of the, are you one of the designers? Was it a group of your friends? I forget. Tell me.
Yeah, a group of friends. I think they were gracious enough to put my name on the box. But yeah, this was just a passion project that we had. So the designers are Rob Chu and John Kane and myself, and the art is all by Audrey Jung. But yeah, we're a small indie company. We've been, I guess, in business for about 3 years now. So this has been a passion project that went from a hobby to kind of a jobby of sorts. But we've just been blown away by how well it's been received. And it's just really been just a joy to see people play it all over the world, which would have never dreamed would be possible, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, you said to me when we first talked about it that it looks really overwhelming because it has all these components. And that's true. It does have a lot of components. Once you realize, and you were completely correct, that it is definitely a very easy barrier to entry, but a very great game with many possibilities. So we're going to run this video so people can see what this game is like. And then we'll come back and talk about it because they need to see this before we really get into this.
Awesome.
Welcome to Rival Restaurants, the competitive restaurant-owning game for 2 to 6 players where revenge is a dish best served cold and hot. The goal of Rival Restaurants is to be the first restaurant to earn 20 popularity points and win the game.
To earn popularity points, players must cook recipes by collecting the correct ingredients and declaring their intention to cook. To begin the game, set up the market board by placing the discard tray with upgrades in the center and corresponding ingredients in each market. We recommend leaving one ingredient face up in each discard tray slot closest to the market so that the players will know where to put the discarded ingredients. Place the garbage bin and action cards in their allocated areas and leave piles of coins in easily accessible areas for the players. Place the 2 decks of recipe cards to the side of the market board. Give each player a restaurant with a unique set of level up bonuses and a chef, each with a unique power. Chefs must use their powers during the phase specified on their chef card. Also, pass out a popularity point slider, movement wheel, an action card, and a cost guide. Next, give each player one basic recipe and one gourmet recipe along with one random ingredient from every market except the Mystery Mart. The player's restaurant board must be organized as so, with all ingredients and recipes clearly visible to all players. When you get the ingredients you're looking for, they must be placed next to the corresponding recipe so that everyone can see. Place extra ingredients off to the side, face up. Now let's talk about turn order. Each turn or day is composed of 3 phases, during which all players participate. The 3 phases of each day are Money and Move, Buy and Barter, and Cook and Counter. Our first phase is Money and Move. This phase is not timed. During Money and Move, players get income for that day, which starts at $300, and to then decide where they want to move. For this example, you still need scallions and poultry. You scan the board and decide to go for poultry. To move there, you must point the arrow on the movement wheel to that location. You can only go to 1 location per day, so choose wisely. Once the timer is up, all players reveal their movement wheel and move their chef to that location. If you're going to a market, you must put your chef on the ingredient you want most. Our second phase is Buy and Barter. During Buy and Barter, players get 1 minute to do as much buying and bartering as they can. Let's begin by talking about buying. There are 6 different markets that each sell different ingredients. If a player is at a market, they can choose to buy face-up ingredients off the counter, or they can buy random face-down ingredients off the shelf. Do not restock counters until the next phase. So what happens if multiple chefs are placed on the same ingredient? Once Buy and Barter begins, these chefs must engage in a bidding war, while play continues as normal for all other players. Those in the bidding war must drive up the price until only one person is willing to pay. If there is a tie or no decision is reached by the end of this phase, then no one gets that ingredient. Now let's talk about the Mystery Mart and all the crazy stuff it sells. Alien goo. Use this in place of any ingredient when you cook. Chocolate. Can be sold for $500 at the island. Secret sauce. Can be added to any basic recipe for an additional popularity, max of 1 per recipe. Tofu. For every meat in your recipe you replace with tofu, draw 1 less garbage when you cook. Now let's talk about the island and the 3 different things you can do here. Action cards cost $300 each. You can only use 1 per day. Action cards cannot be used during Cook and Counter. To use an action card, loudly declare, "Action card!" Everyone must stop what they're doing and the timer must be paused until the action card is resolved. Upgrades cost various amounts and make your restaurant more effective. The upgrades allow you to permanently increase your income, cook 2 recipes in 1 day, and increase the chance of finding a recipe that you want. Lastly, while at the island, you can clean up garbage. To get rid of garbage, you must pay $100 a piece. Garbage is bad. More on that in a moment. Don't forget, you can also sell chocolate here. Now let's talk about bartering. During this time, you can trade with other players for money, ingredients, garbage, action cards, recipes, and even future favors. If you trade recipes, you must trade basic for basic and gourmet for gourmet. Once the 1 minute is up, you can finish any transactions you're in the middle of, but Buy and Barter is now over. On to the next phase. Our last phase is called Cook and Counter. During this phase, players can cook recipes to earn popularity points, and the market counters are restocked. This phase is not timed. During Cook and Counter, chefs return to their restaurant and may cook a recipe if possible. If a player is able to cook, they announce it to everyone and have the player on their left verify that they have all of the correct ingredients. When you successfully cook a recipe, the used ingredients are discarded, you gain popularity, and garbage is created. Slide the cooked recipe under the restaurant and replace with a new recipe, a basic for a basic and a gourmet for a gourmet. When you accumulate 3, 7, and 12 popularity points, you get a restaurant level up bonus. These bonuses must be used immediately unless it says from now on. A few notes. Players can only cook 1 recipe per day unless they have a double cooktop upgrade which allows them to cook both recipes. If there is any garbage in your restaurant when you cook, any recipes you cook are worth 1 less popularity per garbage. If you're able to cook a recipe that is the same cuisine as your restaurant, you get 1 additional popularity. After you're done cooking, it's time to restock the market counters. If there's still an ingredient in the rightmost counter on any market, it expires and must be discarded. All remaining counter ingredients slide all the way to the right, filling in all available space. Shelf cards are then drawn to fill in all available space on the counter. If you run out of shelf ingredients, take the discard pile, shuffle it, and place it back on the shelf. After cooking counter, as soon as players are ready, you start a new day, beginning with a new money and move. Rinse and repeat until someone wins. Well, that's it. You now have everything you need to know to play rival restaurants. Have fun cooking!
I mean, I don't know who wouldn't be moved by that. Like, the artwork is phenomenal. It plays well. Like, that's important. Like, people don't realize, but for your freshman game, I mean, this is pretty amazing stuff. You should be very proud. Do you want to tell people a little bit about how it came to be? I think it's an interesting story.
Yeah, it's the game that never should have been, if you will. Our lead designer, Rob, this was, a college passion project. And I'm talking at this point now, almost 10 years ago. He did this for fun, just wanted to make a game that his friends would play. And he made it out of, nickels and Post-its and nothing fancy, all in a shoebox. And at the same time, we had a mutual friend, Audrey, who's the artist of the game, who was in art school, and she needed a project to submit essentially for, kind of like her final pieces of sorts. So she just took the game in that shoebox and spent a whole school year just drawing everything. So all she had was names of characters and restaurants and recipes. And she drew, hundreds of assets that now that we're, in the business, we would never have this much art intentionally. But she put it together. And when she brought it back, it looked like something you could, pick up off the shelf. So years later, myself and John got involved and we're like, this is amazing. Like, why is this the only copy of this game? Let's make this happen. And, 3 years later, here we are with, more countries that service the game than we thought we'd even sell copies of. So it's
awesome.
Pretty cool.
It's really great too, because it's just really lighthearted. And I would put it in a light to medium range. I mean,
yeah,
I would say because of the component level, it would put it more to a medium than just maybe an entry level. But if somebody knows how to play it, entry level for sure could play. It's attainable, accessible. The puns. Okay, talk about the puns for a minute, because there's a little known secret about Dawn is that I love dad jokes and I love anything punny. I watch Making It with Amy Poehler and Nick Offerman just for well, I craft also, but for the funnies. But my family spent probably 10 to 15 minutes just going through the artwork and laughing about it and the puns, and that's saying something because my kids are 21 and 22. So it really resonates, I think, for all ages. You've done a really great job there. And I know this is the only game in your catalog, but I hear a little birdie told me, Gary might be the bird, that at Origins, you guys are going to announce another game in your line. You going to tell us anything about it?
Yeah. So we're pretty far along the process. It's almost fully designed. We are making a cooperative word game full of puns. The working title, which I think we've really committed to, is Illiterati. So this is a top secret society who is trying to end literacy in the world. Because they can't read. So it's this really, really flashy game where you've got the gameplay is unique in the sense that you're trying to build out to these great novels from history by forming special words to get there. And every round, these villains come through and they just mess up the team's board. So it's got that little sort of pandemic feel of you've got to avoid disasters while working your way up. And I mean, we're talking about books like of Rice and Ramen. We've got basically any book you've heard of. We have put our little gap closer splash on it, and it's meant to be an accessible word game where spelling really is half the battle, right? You've got to use words that you don't think of often to try to avoid some of the villains who destroy vowels and symbols and different lengths of words. So we're excited to test it out, and hopefully, right, if all goes well, we'll be launching it early early next year. So you heard it here first.
Yay! Well, that's awesome. You're going to do that on Kickstarter, but you'll be able to also order it in your friendly local game stores, because you did promise me that there would be a retail pledge level, right? And this,
Absolutely.
I got to plug the retail stores, because that's what this is all about, right? We're celebrating retail stores. And that's something that people don't realize as well too, is that a lot of companies will give you the exact same Kickstarter through your game store as you get if you pledge yourself. And if you want a just nice way to help your game store out, that's an easy way to do it. And game stores are really happy to back Kickstarters as well too. It's just as easy for us to do. So, okay, so question time.
Ooh.
What is your favorite restaurant in rival restaurants?
Ooh. So my favorite restaurant based on the cuisine and the name is actually in the expansion. It is our Indian restaurant called Second to None. That's my favorite. Just, I mean, artistically, everything about it is perfect. My favorite one to play with is the Korean restaurant, Road to Seoul. And that one is more so because the strategy I employ is, cook a lot of basic recipes, sort of, hit them turn by turn. But yeah, those are my my top two. I cheated, I gave you two.
Yeah, so I played with our first game. I played with the Leaning Tower of Pizza,
Yes.
and I played McLovin's, which is so that people know you don't always play, your chef doesn't match your restaurant necessarily. My OCD was a little bit like at first, but then I was okay and I was fine with it. It was fun though. It was really neat because you get bonus points if you play or create a recipe that is of your cuisine. Really cute dynamics. It really had a really nice flow through the whole game. I made a TikTok for it, by the way. It's on my personal page. I just, I really enjoyed it. I really like the artwork. It's a lot of fun. It's great. I sound like one of those really horrible salespeople that are like, it's really great. Everything's great. I do not think every game is great. I do only buy games for my retail store that were games I liked. So, or that I thought had a place with someone else. I shouldn't say that I like, because I feel like everybody's tastes are different, right, for games. But I want the game to be either a good, solid strategy, might buy it for the artwork. There's a point for every single game that I buy. I will tell you right now, this game hits in the artwork, in the playability, in the hilarity. It really does. It just has a great vibe. It is a great family, friend, lightweight, not serious. Definitely not recommending this to the diehards, but they should try it anyway, because it's so literally enjoyable that anybody could enjoy this game. Really well done, Gary. I'm excited to sing your praises. I can't wait for your next game. That sounds phenomenal. It's also a little of the time, don't you think? Is there anything else that you want to share with us about Gap Closer that's important? When's that Kickstarter? You're going to start on Kickstarter. So when do you think that's going to hit?
Hopefully first quarter next year. We don't know anything. The future is, a mystery to all of us. But yeah, I want to say, if you're a retailer and you want to carry the game, definitely hit up Bridge Distribution or GTS. They are our wholesale partners here in the US. Up in Canada, we have Universal.
Yeah.
Or you can come directly to us, gapcloserpublishing.com. We're just, happy to work with anyone.
Go buy it at your friendly local game stores. Go to Giga-Bites. Go to Hitherto. That's going to be on next. These people, and it's really starting to trickle out there. I've seen a lot more of my friends when I'm watching their Facebook posts post your game up. And you know what else? Gap Closer is a small publisher, and there's something to be said for supporting indie studios and a designer that has an independent design. They're all doing it themselves, and it's not this mass-produced item. But I will also say you can really feel it in the game. Really, truly. So thank you so much for being with us. The video was amazing. I hope people run out and buy it.
Thank you, Dawn. Thank you all.
Yeah. All right. Have a great day, Gary. Thanks. Well, that's leading us to our next fun stop on our little restaurant journey that we did today. We're going to actually have our good friend Kevin, who's from Indianapolis, who's just a short jaunt down the road from me at Hitherto. I keep like, I really, 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 we're so close we could throw a stone proverbially. So I'm going to get there. You've won awards from Gamma, though, my Lord. The store is beautiful. Kevin, welcome. It's Hitherto. In which green are you in again?
Greenfield. So there's like greens all around Indianapolis. So we're the Greenfield. So
it's a joke. I knew where you were, but everything is green around Indianapolis.
it is.
So you opened up not that long ago, though.
Yeah, actually just a couple of months before the pandemic. So it was, things definitely went not as planned, but in that process, it's a growing experience, and I like to say it's a season of highs and lows of just starting a new store, and then just meeting your customer base and growing that, and growing that community that you have. Obviously, within the pandemic, it's been really tough because we didn't have that kind of just open-ended where people were gathering. So we did that with hospitality is a lot of the little instances, and that's one thing I love with it is I get an opportunity, even if somebody just walks in to get a coffee, to like make an impact on their day in that short time. But those short times build up over the course of a year, 2 years, 10 years, and so even though I didn't get those longer interactions and those, stays and game times, what we've been building in the meantime has been pretty great. And so we've started to have events again, but it's taking some warming up and processes, through just everything. But, it's been awesome. So
yeah, what's awesome about your company is that Hitherto is a coffee shop first. So yeah. I want people to understand that you're a coffee shop first. And the cool thing is you're also a gaming parlor. So where David is really like going right straight at a gaming aspect, you're taking something that's everyday normal. People go get coffee every day, right? Not everybody, but a lot of people go get coffee every day. And then you can share this experience of this great hobby that you and I love so much with people that might not understand it. So talk about your how that came to be.
Yeah, so this place is kind of a marrying of my two passions. I have over 25 years of hospitality experience. I've always loved board games since I was a kid. I got into hobby gaming like over 15 years ago now. When this opportunity happened, one thing and that I've seen from ever since we've been opening is a lot of people walk in our doors and it's like, wow, I've never knew any of these games ever existed, or I've never seen so many games before in my life. And that's like really exciting because like part of the vision of this place was to share the joy and the wonder of tabletop gaming with those that might not ever even have a chance to come into a game store, whether they're may or may not be next to one, or they just they don't know about board games. They need somebody to bring them into them, and so that's a significant piece of what we want to do. So our retail selection isn't as deep. I mean, we have a really large retail selection of like 1,000 titles. So it's not like it's minimal, but we don't really, contrary to like Giga-Bites, which is awesome. Like, we all kind of take different routes of like, creating new gamers and getting more people into the hobby. Ours is through a food and beverage mechanism, that they utilize food and beverage as well as a complement with like miniature games. We, since we don't have as much retail space, stocking miniature games is very difficult for us. So there's only a couple of main titles, and we, even within that, we don't stock that deep, but it's great because like, we try to cater to, our community and those around us that's been interested in. And
you do a lot in the board gaming and RPG sector. So that's a great way to really get people that don't know about our hobby really interested in it in a very easy kind of vibe, right?
Yeah.
Because they're coming in for, it looks like amazing coffee. I'm not kidding. I can't wait to come down. And your desserts look absolutely delectable. And for any of you out there watching this, I swear to you, you have to at least go to his Instagram and Facebook page, because every picture is a work of art. And I want to eat and drink everything. It's amazing. You're getting great reviews. People are really loving it. I'm very, very excited to have you part of the Gamma family and really sharing this passion of yours with the world. And one cup of coffee at a time, right?
Yep.
So we do have we, Adam, Adam is our producer, I'm asking. Okay, great. All right, so people get to see this. So they're seeing this video go as we're talking. And that's really awesome, because I can't explain. We could sit here and talk about it all day long, but those pictures, they definitely say 1,000 words. Like that is worth everything. It's really beautiful. You've taken a lot of attention to detail every inch of the space that you have. And you're kind of a bigger coffee shop, right? It's not like,
yeah, one of my friends in Cincinnati, he's a roaster, and every time like I work at a place, he's like, how big's that spot? And I tell him, he's like, wow, you like those big coffee shop spaces, don't you? So yeah, we're about 3,000 square feet. So, but we have a full kitchen, dining area, and retail space. Had I wished if we'd gone back a little bit, of course, like retail space was pretty limited when we opened. I'd love to, just like rental lease space was tough to come by. I think I'd love to like grow it to about 4,000 square feet. I think some additional seating and some additional retail for what we do.
yeah.
We've definitely maxed out at certain points in time, and I see it growing over the course of time. So
Yeah. Well, you have a unique opportunity, though, to really expand yourself quickly, because you started with the food and then you're adding that extra element. And we talked, it's interesting because for you to be willing to give up that much space and dedicate it to your passion of gaming is incredible, because for those out there that don't know, square footage is very costly. So the idea of a restaurant type cafe style is to own table, but you're actually encouraging them to sit down,
yes.
take a breath, play a game, and hang out. And that does wonders for our industry. That shares it in ways that people can't even imagine. Tell us about some of the coffees, the different coffees that you have. Because I mean, I'm already telling people it's a great game store, but if you're looking at this as a reason to travel there, I want them to know a little bit about these coffees, and you change them seasonally, so that's exciting too.
Yeah, so coffee is an agricultural crop. It's actually the second highest traded commodity in the world behind oil. Most people don't realize that. So it is, just massive. And so as we're getting different crops in, we're getting, fresh crops and roasts. And these are coming from different origins across the tropical belt over the world. So, everything from Central to Southern Latin American, coffees, to African, to the Indonesia, Central Asia area. Those are all, they come in their seasons. I could talk about coffee for a long time. We have the traditional Italian espresso bar set up. For me, I just wish everybody would come in and buy like espressos and cappuccinos and really small drinks. That's what I love. But, we do have like, flavored lattes, and, frappes, of course, are really popular, and some smoothies. But we really tried to, create a menu that was appealing for all ages. And we've definitely seen that come out. We have a large kid game section. Kids love coming here, like moms bringing their kids, even adults coming and play, or, after school, it's, just like board games, coffee and board games both are appealing to all ages. And I like to use the mantra, to say, together at the table. So everything that we do around here, I want people to just be able to sit at a table for as long as they can, and enjoy the company and the pieces that we have to share.
Yeah. Origin's parent company, as we've talked about before, is Gamma. It's a nonprofit. It's not really a company, it's a not-for-profit, but that's a philosophy too. I said they're so very well entrenched together because we have the exact same philosophy, sort of, a game on every table and a table for everyone. I said it right this time because we changed it in the term that I before and I'm always like, wait, what did we change it to? But it's amazing because you're doing that. You're living and embodying that philosophy that we have, where we want it to be a place for people to gather and put their worries for the day away and just dive into a game. A lot of bookstores have that same philosophy. You just go to a corner and kind of read a book, but you're encouraging people to socialize again and really meet other people and enjoy each other's company and learn new games and learn new things. And you know what? Unite, right? So you're doing that over coffee and you're doing that over everything that you have. It's amazing. And I know that it's been rough because you opened at the beginning of the pandemic, but by the looks behind you, Kevin, it's going to be amazing. And your passion is there. Your store just looks phenomenal. And your desserts, holy cow, you could be a whole subsection in Gary's game for those desserts on your website. Like the pictures are like amazing. It's really well done. Like I know myself from dealing and interacting with other retailers. We often talk about having coffee in or having, like, David has his cafe to serve his customers, right? Which is an awesome service. So he has good food, but it's not what he does. He's known for his gaming. And the fact that you can be known for your food industry side and bring people to gaming, it's both important, both amazing, and both super useful.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to be said for how much you must care about gaming, because we know that building out a building like you have is not inexpensive. And to give to our community and our industry like that is phenomenal. I hope tons of people come and visit you. You really are very close to Indianapolis. A lot of people may be going there in 2 weeks. So if they are, they could come your way and look you up, because you're not.
Yep, absolutely. If you're watching this, please ask for me, and I'd love to give you a tour and answer any questions. So it's been great. Like, there's a lot of people that come by. We're crossroads of America here, so easy access to travel through, and so. But it's been fun. I met literally people from coast to coast have been by here, so that's pretty exciting. So
pretty awesome. And if they're driving through Indianapolis on their way to Origins at the end of this month,
yep,
because Origins
2 great conventions in 2 great states. So.
I know, right? I'm a little biased to Origins, but that's even though I live in Indiana, but that's only because it's the game industry, and it actually was my first convention I went to, so I'm very biased for Origins. And I mean, we're sitting on their channel, right? But that aside, I literally have always loved Origins. But a lot of people drive through. You're right on that corridor where they could be going in any direction around from you in a quick jaunt, even if they're heading over to Columbus. They should stop and see you. Or if they're at the other convention, which we love too, in 2 weeks, we'll be really close to you as well.
Yeah, we're right off 70, so it's easy access.
And you're going to be at Origins.
Yes, I will be at Origins.
People can come and meet you. We'll go taste coffee around the Columbus area. And,
that'd be great. There's some great coffee in Columbus.
There really is. People don't realize that Indianapolis and Columbus are so very well known for food, because we think about like New York and the coast for food, but Columbus and Indianapolis are just killing it with like amazing, cuisines from all over the country. And, when you're done with a good meal, you got to go to a coffee shop, and what better place to go?
Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll see you in 4 weeks at Origins. And for those of you guys visiting, thank you, or watching us today, please go visit these guys. If you're in the Georgia area, the Indianapolis area and check out rival restaurants, because honestly, I think you're going to love it. I hope you had a delectable time in our little bite of good food today and good gaming fun. We'll see you guys next time. We'll be off for Origins next month, but we'll be back again in October. So thanks so much, guys. Happy gaming.
Thank you.